So as I discussed on Sunday's video, they have announced a brand new Digimon anime project that is going to be releasing in 2027 for Digimon's 30th anniversary. And I was looking at that image they posted and thought, blue sky again. And now of course, blue sky imagery is very associated with Digimon Adventure, but then I thought, there was that Digimon World redigitized key art. And it ignited a theory in me that I've had for a few months now. Now to be clear, I don't think the new anime for 2027 is going to be an adaptation of Digimon World redigitized plot, though that is an option, but given they said completely new anime project, I would hope not. But springboarding just off the concept of Digimon World redigitized, I do think that maybe I have worked out that in 2027 they will be doing a full re-release of that game for modern consoles and PC. What is up, digital companions? My name is Tinfoil Hat Karn EX, and welcome back to another video. If it's not welcome back, of course, please subscribe and maybe even join the Patreon, patreon.com/Karn EX. So yeah, I was looking over this anime release thinking about Blue Sky in Digimon, and like I said in the intro, I don't think this is going to be based off an existing piece of Digimon media, though maybe it'll be some kind of crossover event for the 30th anniversary of the franchise. But that Blue Sky imagery of Digimon World redigitized did stick out to me, and it reminded me of this 4Gamer interview with Hara and Tomino about Digimon Story Time Stranger, where they reference redigitize a couple of times. But this was an article about a story game. They even said with the previous redigitize, but the previous game to Time Stranger is Survive, or maybe Next Order, or even Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory, depending on how you look at it. I then thought, they're talking about games Tomino specifically worked on, and then it all clicked into place. Moby Game credits do only show him as working on Time Stranger and redigitize. Case solved, right? I don't know, something just bugged me about it. The fact that they were referencing World Redigitized and in the same article talking about expanding the team. Tomino has now been the director and Hara the producer on one of the most successful Digimon games of all time. It seems natural to me that they would keep those two on board for the future. So if Tomino is involved in more Digimon games going forward, it's natural to me he would want to bring his only other Digimon game to light, and then the light switch turned on for me. Digimon World Redigitized was never released outside of Japan, I think. It might have been localized in some countries, but it certainly wasn't translated into English. So there is a huge swathe of the fan base who have just never played this game. Yes, it's been fan translated, both the original and decode for 3DS, but a lot of people don't know how to emulate or how to patch ROMs or anything like that. To me, the Time Stranger 2027 DLC probably takes precedence on rushing out another mainline world or story game. You gotta bear in mind, Time Stranger was 2025 and took around 7 to 8 years to come out. Now we hope with the expansion of the games team, the next game won't take that long, but I still wouldn't really want them to rush out a game. You know, the 3 to 5 year development timeline is fine for me. Obviously 2027 would put us 2 years past Digimon Story Time Stranger, so I'm personally hoping that between 2028 and 2030 we get a new Digimon world or story game potentially set in Shambhala. I'm gonna make a whole video pitching my idea for a Digimon world set in Shambhala soon. Some of the things that line up this tinfoil hat theory to me are, first of all, that Digimon World Redigitized was the 15th anniversary Digimon game. So 2027 will be the 15th anniversary of that game, and of course the 30th anniversary of the franchise overall. It also got a weird split release with the original on PSP and then more content in Decode on 3DS, and is a really fun bit of trivia that it featured a Tekken character, in fact technically 2 Tekken characters, in the core cast. With the continued hype for Tekken going, even with the problems with Tekken 8, and now Harada stepping away from Tekken, maybe there's an internal shift in Bandai Namco, I think it'd be cool to have some synergy between Digimon and Tekken. Maybe if a World Redigitized re-release remaster does come out before we're done with the DLC packs for Tekken 8, we might even finally get some Lily cosmetics in Tekken 8 that are Digimon themed. For Digimon fans who have played Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory, the game also features the origins of some pretty key characters like Rina and Mirai, who have become mainstays of Digimon games. Mirai in particular is an absolute fan favorite, and yet a lot of people haven't been able to legally, or perhaps ever, play the game she comes from. And the one that always seemed odd to me is that before a bunch of other Digimon media, they made a dedicated TCG set for Redigitize that obviously got translated into English, and yet there's no official release of the game in English. This is not a unique thing, of course. We have V-Tamer characters who've never been in anything outside of V-Tamer, like Taichi, the V-Tamer version of Taichi, because that didn't get translated into English, but it felt funny to me that an entire set was dedicated to a game that we weren't allowed to play. It's also one of the Digimon games I see most requested for a remaster or re-release. Alongside Adventure PS PSP in the first 3 to 4 Digimon World games. It makes all the sense in the world to me that for Digimon's 30th anniversary, alongside a new anime and a new VPET project, which I hope is a big deal, that they would release a game of some variety alongside it, and we have seen more willingness for them to do that. They finally ported Next Order to Switch, added a couple of little quality of life updates, and we have had Habu in the past acknowledge that it's something people want. So re-releasing Redigitize in like 4K 60, something on par with Cyber Sleuth or Time Stranger, I think probably looking more like Cyber Sleuth. In fact, I think the most likely thing is this is just a remaster, kind of like the Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD remasters, not full-on remakes, but it gives them a game to put out in the 30th anniversary year that a lot of people haven't played. I don't think it's going to do gangbusters like Time Stranger, but it's certainly income and keeps Digimon game release hype going. It being the 30th anniversary though, I think it would also make a lot of sense to revisit some of the earliest Digimon games, and while I don't want them to remaster or remake them, I think putting Digimon World 1, 2, 3, and maybe 4 up on PSN, eShop, Steam, etc. is basically free money at this point. We saw the success of the GOG campaign, which didn't seem to go anywhere for Digimon World, and we see a lot of companies like Capcom putting out old titles like Dino Crisis and things like that on Steam and PlayStation. Just feels like a no-brainer to me. And if my theory is true, it also swings the door wide open to translate and re-release, remaster older games of Digimon 2. The WonderSwan games, which have got huge impact and importance to the adventure canon, and even stuff like Adventure PSP, which could be a really fun game and I think an easy one to bring out, especially if you could bring back the dub cast for the English version, but give people an option to listen to it with Japanese voice acting and English subtitles too. Releasing old games or packaging them up in different ways, maybe remastering, maybe even remaking, would give them more income and time to keep the momentum up while they make a brand new world, story, or maybe even new Survive game, please. I recall reading a few years ago that Habu expressed interest in yearly releases. I must admit, I can't find a source for this now. If you know it, let me know in the comments, but I know I have seen Habu talk about keeping the momentum up with Digimon games. I know a lot of fans don't like the idea of yearly releases. However, a yearly release doesn't have to be a brand new game. We're not talking about like a Pokemon or Call of Duty situation. Even Pokemon has stepped away from brand new mainline titles every year, but more so releases, remasters, re-releases, etc. But I think Digimon's best way to capitalize on its momentum is yearly game releases, just not always brand new games. Give Mediavision 3 to 6 years to work on a story game, another team 3 to 6 on a world game, and then in between outsource to external companies, or even internal ones to be honest, to remaster and re-release older titles, maybe make DLC for existing games. There's no real time limit on these things. Time Stranger could have yet another DLC, Survive could get given a DLC, they could make a kind of hint DLC for World Next Order that ties into Redigitize. I think every year for a brand new release might be a little crazy, but like once every 18 months, something coming out in the games department just makes sense to me to keep the brand hype going and money in their pockets, even if it really is just something as simple as World 1, 2, and 3 on eShops. In addition to it being Redigitize's 15th anniversary, it is also Frontier's 25th anniversary, Young Hunter's 15th anniversary, and Digimon World Dawn and Dusk's 15th. In my opinion, those three are more likely to be acknowledged via the Time Stranger DLC. Of course, as Dawn and Dusk's Coronamon and Lunamon are already key figures in the game, and we saw through the popularity poll that both Fairymon and Gumdramon ranked very highly on the popularity of fans. So I think that might be how they kind of celebrate, you know, when it becomes the 25th anniversary of Frontier, they go, hey, by the way, Fairymon, Kazemon's coming to the game. Young Hunter's anniversary, hey, Gumdramon's coming to the game. I wouldn't expect to see these titles in any way get anything crazy, especially with a brand new anime coming in 2027. I feel like a Frontier movie is less likely to happen, I'm sorry, but I would really love it. I also feel like the case for a Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory remaster or re-release is very premature at this stage. The game sold very well, and of course have been on a bunch of platforms and they're now on Steam, and there was that Steam card weirdness where they were taking off Steam cards, but to me that just seems to be because they finally announced that Hacker's Memory is being added to Steam in Japan, so I think they might add new cards or something in future, but I don't feel like that was any indication of a remaster or re-release, because frankly, for what it is, the game looks fine. I think to justify a remaster, you would have to do a full-on like day one type thing, make it like Time Stranger, fully voice acted in English, you know, properly like animated and directed cutscenes rather than the kind of characters on screen with text boxes. I feel like because Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory are already well celebrated and enjoyed, it would seem a little bit pointless at this stage, and I don't think they would put Hacker's Memory on Steam for Japan if they were planning to do that anytime soon. I think another factor that makes this even more likely to happen is that Digimon World Redigitized Decode, specifically on 3DS, was kind of what kickstarted Digimon's revolution or re-releasing outside of Japan, specifically in the West. There was a big Operation Decode campaign to get World Redigitized localized, specifically Decode for 3DS, and that then led to Habu noticing that outcry and releasing Cyber Sleuth outside of Japan, translated into English and other territories. We have World Redigitized Decode specifically to thank for the resurgence of Digimon in English. So that's my stake in the ground. I think the major game for 2027, possibly into 2028, is going to be a Digimon World Redigitize full re-release remaster on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, Switch 2, and PC. 4K 60, voice acted in English and Japanese, maybe some other countries, though judging by Time Stranger, I think we're more likely to get it in Japanese and English audio, and then subtitle options in a bunch of other languages. It is the big missing gap, I think, not just in Digimon releases, because of course we had a lot of Digimon media that haven't left certain countries, but specifically in Digimon games lore, because Digimon Story, Cyber Sleuth, and Hacker's Memory and Time Stranger are so well known and so beloved, there's a legitimate reason to release these games so far after they came out, and would do a great deal of goodwill to the fans. Now, like I say, this is just a theory, a game theory, but I am really trying to invoke time after time at the moment, whether it's talking about Digimon Elysian, or in this case, trying to summon Digimon World Redigitized Decode. So in 2 days when this game gets announced, you can thank me. I'm just kidding, I did nothing. But I think realistically, it's more likely that they're going to save this for around Digimon Con next year as a announcement, and possibly release it again towards October of 2027. You don't need to have as big of a marketing push for a remaster or re-release, but then it also to me indicates maybe if they are putting a game out, and again this is all just in my head, towards the end of 2027, that we are going to be looking at that Time Stranger DLC early 2027. I think it makes a lot of sense to save promotion for that until Digimon Con, or at least a release date until Digimon Con, but also we could see that at a Nintendo Direct, at a State of Play, at the Game Awards, like, well, probably not the Game Awards, Jeff hates Digimon, that's a joke, but he's never talked about it. I get people who think they will wait until Digimon Con to announce the release date of the DLC, and it's still pretty likely, Digimon Con being like March, April, the DLC could come out like June, July, but either way, I'm so happy that we have such a stacked 2027 already confirmed. Even if Digimon Elysian gets pushed to 2027 from that 2026 release date, that's still brand new TCG mobile game, Time Stranger DLC, new anime, new VPET project, and I think just something in my spidey senses is tingling, Digimon World Redigitize full remaster re-release in English in other territories. Come back to this video when I'm right, come back to this video inevitably when I'm wrong, but I had to get this one out there. Thank you to my sovereign ZDK14 and everyone else who supports me over on patreon.com/Karn EX and my YouTube channel members here on YouTube. You guys are amazing. I'll see you next time when we go digital. Bye bye.